Imagine for a moment that everything you struggle with, every fear, every self-doubt, isn't just an obstacle to overcome, but a map leading you to your true purpose. What if the key to understanding who you really are and what you were meant to do lies in the very parts of yourself you've tried to ignore, suppress, or deny? Today, we explore one of the most transformative concepts in psychology and philosophy, Carl Jung's theory of the shadow. This isn't about abstract ideas. It's about uncovering profound truths that can reshape your life. Carl Jung, a pioneer of depth psychology, believed that the shadow is the unconscious part of ourselves that we reject or disown. It consists of all the traits, desires, and aspects of our personality that we consider unacceptable or shameful. Yet paradoxically, this very shadow contains the seeds of our greatest strengths and the blueprint for a fulfilling life. Think about how often you avoid certain thoughts or behaviors because they make you uncomfortable. How often do you judge others for traits you secretly recognize in yourself? If you've ever reacted strongly to someone else's actions, there's a good chance it's because they touched a part of your own shadow. Jung wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." The shadow isn't just about darkness. It is about potential, the energy we bury because we're too afraid or ashamed to face it. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are there parts of yourself that you try to hide, even from yourself? Perhaps it's a fear of failure, deep anger, or persistent envy. Maybe it's a passion or desire you convinced yourself is impractical or wrong. What if these aren't flaws to erase, but messages waiting to be understood? Jung believed that confronting our shadow and integrating it leads to individuation, the process of becoming whole. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to face the unknown. But the rewards are immense, discovering not just the persona you show the world, but your complete, authentic self, both light and shadow. Consider every hero in mythology. Hercules facing monsters and his own rage. Luke Skywalker confronting his inner darkness before becoming a Jedi. These stories mirror our own psychological journeys. Are you ready to take that first step? To look at the parts of yourself you've been running from and ask, what are you trying to teach me? Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's a guide whispering through your dreams, fears, and relationships. Bringing your shadow into awareness is the first step toward integration. But what does that actually look like in your daily experience? The shadow often reveals itself in subtle ways, in your habits, your relationships, and especially in your emotional reactions. Have you ever found yourself reacting more strongly than seems reasonable? Maybe an unexpected outburst of anger or jealousy surprises you. That moment, when emotion overwhelms reason, is often your shadow surfacing. It's trying to communicate something important. Carl Jung explained that the shadow's power comes from its unconscious nature. The more we deny or suppress parts of ourselves, the stronger they become, like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The harder you push, the more forcefully it bounces back when you finally let go. So, what if you could bring that hidden part of yourself to the surface and understand its origins? How much more control and freedom would you gain in your life? One of the most compelling ways the shadow works is through projection. When we disown certain traits, we often see them exaggerated in others, triggering strong emotional reactions. For example, if you struggle with feelings of inadequacy, you might find yourself criticizing someone else's confidence or success. This isn't just a psychological quirk. It's a mirror reflecting what we have yet to accept within ourselves. Jung said, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of others." Take a moment to think about someone who triggers a strong emotional response in you, a colleague, a friend, or family member. Instead of focusing only on their behavior, ask, what does this reaction reveal about me? What part of my shadow am I projecting onto them? This reflection isn't about blame. It's an invitation to self-discovery. Each projection is a chance to reclaim a part of yourself and bring it into conscious awareness. Recognizing your shadow in everyday life allows you to stop reacting out of unconscious fear or judgment. Instead, you can respond with greater compassion and understanding, both for yourself and others. This shift transforms not only your inner world, but your relationships as well. When you stop projecting your shadow onto others, you begin to see them and yourself more clearly. By paying attention to these emotional triggers and practicing self-inquiry, you take an active role in your psychological growth. This awareness lays the foundation for deeper integration and healing. Now that you recognize your shadow and see how it shows up in daily life, the next step is learning to embrace it. This isn't about indulging every impulse or giving in to negative traits, but about accepting the parts of yourself you've long denied. Imagine a painter who refuses to use dark colors. Their work might be beautiful, but it will lack depth and contrast. Similarly, when you reject your shadow, your personality lacks the richness and complexity that make you whole. Carl Jung called this process individuation, becoming your complete self, both light and dark. It's a journey of courage and honesty, but it leads to profound growth. Ask yourself, what parts of myself have I labeled as bad or unacceptable? What feelings or desires have I hidden away out of shame or fear? By acknowledging these parts without judgment, you transform fear into understanding. Your shadow contains not only your weaknesses, but also hidden strengths and untapped potential. Think of heroes in stories. Hercules had to face not only external monsters, but his own rage. Luke Skywalker confronted the darkness within before becoming a Jedi. These narratives reflect our own need to face and integrate our shadows. This acceptance fosters compassion for yourself and others. You begin to realize everyone carries a shadow, and this shared human experience connects us deeply. Embracing your shadow opens the door to authenticity and confidence. You stop pretending to be someone you're not and start living in alignment with your true self. The process isn't quick or easy. It requires patience and a willingness to face discomfort. But the rewards are immense: greater inner peace, clearer purpose, and more fulfilling relationships. When you embrace your shadow, you reclaim energy you once wasted resisting yourself. This energy can fuel creativity, passion, and meaningful change in your life. Remember, your shadow is not your enemy. It's a powerful ally waiting to be understood. Understanding your shadow is powerful, but true transformation happens when you actively integrate it into your daily life. This process bridges the gap between awareness and authentic change. One of the most important steps is practicing radical self-honesty. This means looking at yourself without filters or excuses, admitting feelings like jealousy, insecurity, or judgment without shame. Think of it as cleaning a cluttered room. You can organize the space until you acknowledge the mess. Start by paying attention to your emotional triggers. The next time you feel a strong reaction, anger, fear, or even admiration, pause and ask, why am I reacting this way? What part of me is this revealing? For example, if someone's confidence irritates you, maybe it's because you've suppressed your own desire to stand out. These moments are doorways to deeper self-awareness. Another effective technique is dialogue with your shadow. Carl Jung encouraged patients to imagine their shadow as a separate entity, to have conversations through journaling, meditation, or visualization. Ask questions like, what are you trying to protect me from? What do you need to feel seen? This practice helps externalize hidden feelings and understand their role in your life. Your shadow isn't trying to harm you. It's trying to protect or guide you in its own way. Journaling can also unlock insights. Record your dreams, emotions, and recurring thoughts. The shadow often communicates symbolically in dreams, through animals, people, or events. As you build this relationship, you'll start to notice shifts. Your emotional reactions become less intense, and you respond with more calm and clarity. Remember, integration is not about acting on every impulse, but about recognizing and accepting these parts as aspects of your humanity. This acceptance fosters compassion, not only for yourself, but for others who also carry shadows. By embracing this process, you build a foundation for a life that feels authentic, balanced, and deeply aligned with who you truly are. As you integrate your shadow, you begin to uncover a deeper truth. Your purpose is not something external to find, but something within to reveal. Carl Jung believed that embracing both light and dark parts of yourself leads to alignment with your authentic self. And that alignment is where purpose lives. Often, the very parts you've suppressed fears, desires, or talents hold the key to your unique gifts and passions. For instance, someone who has hidden their creativity out of fear may find their true calling by embracing it fully. This process starts with honest self-inquiry. Ask yourself, what fears have kept me from pursuing my dreams? What parts of myself have I labeled unacceptable? Which passions have I abandoned because I thought they were impractical? Writing down these reflections allows your shadow to speak and guides you toward your inner truth. As you live more authentically, you'll notice your relationships deepen. When you stop projecting your fears or insecurities onto others, connections become more honest and fulfilling. Moreover, Jung taught that our individuation, our process of becoming whole, contributes to the collective unconscious, the shared experience of humanity. When you align with your true self, you don't just transform your own life. You inspire and uplift those around you. Shadow work is a lifelong journey requiring patience and courage, but it's also a path to freedom. Freedom to be yourself, free from fear and pretense, living a life that reflects your deepest purpose. Imagine waking up each day feeling connected to your true potential, energized by your authentic self, and guided by the wisdom of your shadow rather than hiding from it. This is the gift of shadow integration, a profound peace and clarity that comes from embracing all parts of who you are.